Welcome, guys. I'm really excited for you guys to hear from today's guest. He's someone who we were just talking about it a little bit, really working against a lot of forces because he saw the rise in digital distraction, something really all of us experience, whether or not we know we're experiencing it on a daily basis. And he actually decided to do something about it. So, Chris Kaspar is the founder of Techless, the company behind Wisephone. And I kind of describe it as a minimalist phone built for human connection and not endless scrolling. So, welcome to the podcast, Chris.
Awesome. Good to see everyone. Glad to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us. So let's just get right into it. Tell us a little bit about your journey, kind of that led you to Techless and the Wise Phone. And I'm kind of curious, was there a defining moment that you realized that you needed to do this?
Sure. Yeah. And I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I know you have a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs that listen to the podcast. I actually had the blessing of being part of a fifth generation family business, which is a
Yeah.
very small percentage of people that get to
Yeah.
experience something like that. And I was working there, and it was good work. We were making meaningful progress. We had about 500 employees or so, but I sort of hit the law of diminishing returns in that company, where I had a passion in what I wanted to accomplish in life, and I was sort of like, eventually you do what you can do in your hometown, and
Yeah.
so I did what I
Yeah.
could do and had sort of a blank page moment. And at that time, I had foster kids and they couldn't be trusted with phones. And I kind of entered into this world that all parents face right now, which is stuck between being a jerk and saying, no, you can't have something
Right.
or you can have everything. And I said, hey, there's opportunity here to change the world in a very meaningful way, and kind of crossed off a bunch of other ideas I had and said, let's dive in. And it's been 6 years since then, and a wonderful journey with ups and downs. And it's been great.
So how did you get from that, kind of the vision to figuring out what to actually go to market with? I mean, in a world where like it's a race to include more and more in these devices, scaling that back. How did you get there?
So when it comes to like product management, I'm a firm believer in don't come in with an idea, come in with questions and curiosity. And so I really just asked a lot of questions, and I did sort of two things simultaneously. I did my own deep dive of really the fundamental principles driving our technology today. Because at the end of the day, it was technology and the design principles behind it that was broken, not the actual hardware. It was the decisions being made at the board level, at the product
Right.
management level. And so I really dove into that. At the same time, was just asking lots of people, surveys, parents, interviews, you name it, getting insight into what's the highest pain point. And it became pretty obvious fairly quickly, actually, that the phone was the most intimate device that we carry around with us all the time. And that's where the most exploitation of our time, attention, energy, everything else occurred. And so I said, okay, let's tackle the phone first and we can grow from there.
Good call, because I stopped even carrying around a wallet, put all my credit cards in my phone because I'll leave a wallet somewhere, but I'll never leave my phone for long.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's our best friend now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how did you decide kind of what well, I guess, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit, your 30 to 60 seconds, like what is wise phone? Tell them a little bit about what that actually is.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, it's a smartphone form, aka Samsung hardware, nothing innovative in that sense. But we recreated the OS and put a whole series of protections and guardrails. In a sense, the purpose of it is to be healthy for you instead of unhealthy for you. So we have a different business model, a premium business model where you pay a monthly subscription to use it. And we have no dog in the fight to say we need to capture your attention. It's not freemium. We're not selling your data. It's privacy focused. We curate apps. We have a very narrow list of around 1,000 apps that we've actually greenlit and allow on the device. And no social media, no games, nothing explicit. So it's perfect for, it was designed actually initially for kids, but the experience is very clean, sleek, and sophisticated. And so actually 80% of our users ended up being adults. A lot of creative professionals, people that value their mental focus and energy is who we ended up serving the most.
Yeah, and I noticed on your site you have It's not a timer because it's counting minutes or like of time saved by use of the device. I think it's I forget what the number was. It's approaching millions or billions or something
Yeah,
crazy
we're
like
we're
that.
we're we're approaching a couple billion, I think, and we call it
Yeah,
life hours. And we sort of say,
yeah,
hey, a life
yeah.
hour, an hour that you would have spent squandered on screen time, watching cat videos or makeup tutorials or something that actually doesn't help your life, and you can
Right.
reclaim that and do something meaningful, wonder, live, imagine, spend time with friends and family instead. And that's sort of our purpose of how we measure how many life hours are we giving back to the world.
I mean, there's no doubt you're not just selling a product. You're really building a movement around digital wellness. I mean, what's that been like? How have people responded emotionally to what you're doing?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Like, I mean, everyone on the team, we got a bunch of people that are like previously big tech corporate guys that are super, super talented that bailed on Apple or Google or, some other big, huge Burger King app, something like that. And they
Yeah.
just love what we're up to. So internally, it's a lot of fun because we can just attract people that really have purpose and meaning in their life and what we're doing here. And then externally, it's fun because just coming out of the woodwork, I mean, we launched a new product in the UK just 2 weeks ago. We've had 140 articles written about us, like internationally.
Wow.
And so it's
Yeah.
just fun to engage in the dialogue with very smart people worldwide. Actually, it's starting to grow very substantially. So
So are you launching other products kind of in this digital wellness space or?
we are, yes. So at the highest level, our company name is Techless. Our goal is to create healthy tech. And with that, the phone was the first. Wisephone was the very first product, and it started out uber minimalist, but it was very hard to use. High inconvenience hurdle. And as
Yeah.
time has gone on, we've added more functionality, gotten it closer to a smartphone. We're never going to go full fledged smartphone, but we've added more, third party tools, etc. And we just launched in the UK, and we'll bring it to the States eventually, a healthy iPhone actually for kids and teens. So
Ah,
same
okay.
design philosophy as Wisephone. It looks a little different, totally different tech stack in partnership with Apple, but the rules of engagement are almost exactly the same. But kids want iPhones, and the Android has stigma. And Wisephone, the two color UX design is a little bit interesting, or like they don't want to show their friends that. So we're making something a little more normal for them.
I would imagine it's a little bit of a challenge to find that right balance, right? I mean, to respond to the pressures a little bit of the the marketplace and the users, but yet still staying true to who you are and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's a constant balance. I talked to the man that invented the Apple mouse, and when we
Oh,
first
wow.
said we were going to allow third-party apps, he said, "Chris, you're going to open up Pandora's box of like this awful tension of everyone has an opinion and perspective of what's good, what's not, what's healthy, what's not." And we are, in a sense, the curators of that truth.
Right.
And we're constantly pulling in other people, getting different perspectives, trying to make a more ever increasingly more sophisticated understanding of what's good for us and what's not. But we're going to tick people off. And so we just have to have courage, hold the
Can't
line
make
on certain
everybody happy.
things. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of curious what's something people might not realize about launching such a purpose-driven tech company, which even just saying those two things
Yeah.
juxtaposed seems a little off. Like, what's one thing people just might not realize about going down a path like this?
So I'd say one of the biggest innovations we've made is actually having investors that were focused on more than just investor returns. And if you really ask yourself why tech is broken, a lot of it is just the insane pressure from venture capital firms investing, millions and
Mm,
millions into these companies and expecting 100x returns. Like they're going after unicorns. And we, by default, have a degree of sacrifice. We cannot and will not exploit attention at the cost of revenue or profit. And so we have boundaries around what we did. So actually, I've had to innovate on who the investors were. We've done a lot of reverse due
yeah.
diligence. We've turned away multi-million dollar checks actually because we felt like they would be the tail that wagged the dog in places we didn't want to go. So that was surprising. I kind of expected that early on, but we definitely have had to find, in a sense, the niche investor that is impact focused, does care about returns, but responsible returns, not astronomical.
Right.
I need a yacht type of thing. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess you've had to position it a little differently, and it was probably finding the right investor who's willing to relinquish some of that.
Yeah, definitely. And we've
Mm,
found a
mm,
lot of, honestly, a lot of traction in faith-based investment spaces. In
okay.
Dallas and in New York and San Francisco, there's pockets of communities, and they have a slightly different perspective, a slightly different worldview, and it's resonated really well with our audience. I mean, with internally with what we've done, and they're willing to, again, sacrifice that extra unicorn type returns in order to do meaningful work in the world. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a hybrid impact and investment group we found.
Well, one thing that I'm sure is working for you is I think no one would argue with the fact that we are digitally distracted. It's just they'll argue with what we should do about it,
Yeah.
and what they're willing to do about it.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, 5 years ago when we first started, everyone was confused. No one understood it. I mean, people would come up to me and be like, why are you doing this? Like, my phone's fine, you know? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's not actually. And 6 years
Uh-huh.
later, now you're right. No one will argue with you, but that wasn't the case when we first kicked off here.
Yeah. And we're far more distracted than ever, no doubt. If you're up for it, let's pivot a little bit. And one thing that I'm always thinking about with companies like yours and a product that's I think would be incredibly sticky once someone tries it and they realize all the time that they're probably getting back in their lives. Like, how do you get in front of the right people at the right time? Are you using some AI tools to help you connect and have those conversations?
We use AI very carefully internally. We don't use it extravagantly in our marketing or funnel building efforts. Some to help just refine marketing messages. Like for example, we're launching in the UK, and I could say some things that are fine in the US market that'd be offensive in the UK. So we're
Hmm.
like making, but for the
Interesting. Yeah.
most part, we are pro tech. We're tech optimists. We want to go that route, but we have a few yellow flags that we wave, and so we're kind of moderately fast to adopt AI stuff. But particularly in our funnel, we're a little light. Um, but it's a good tool that we use. But everything is very human and by design on purpose. So
Who would I mean, obviously it's people like me, it's consumers out there who are open to having a tool to help them manage the digital distraction. But who are your partners out there? Who are the ones that can help you get the word out and get your product in front of more people?
So when we first launched, 90% of our sales were just pure organic. It was like I'd hop on a podcast like this and it'd sell hundreds of phones. And I was so grateful for that. Now it's slowed down a little bit. We're doing a little bit more paid ads. But we have distribution partners. There's a couple US carriers that are value aligned that we sell through, and we have a third one that we're having conversations with right now. And then there's a lot of fascinating niche and not so niche influencers, advocates that just care about this space. We've got an NFL
Yeah.
football player and a NBA basketball player and mama wellness blogs and parenting blogs and homeschool conventions and just a lot of people that are just feel the need, want to serve their audience, and they just talk about us. And we have a really strong affiliate referral network, which we don't care about the transactional side of it, but that's been a lot of our bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm hoping me personally is now that I've researched it so much, they're hearing me talk about it. Like my phone is listening right now. I get it fully on time. That I will actually start seeing more of that. So seeing more about how you're getting the word out. How are you telling your story at scale? Be it like especially in a time where so many people are, I think, looking to simplify their digital lives. They just don't know how. There's so much pressure for them not to. Like, how are you getting that story out there?
We are a little light on the organic content piece by design. Like we don't want to just flood the world with more content.
Right.
But we do have a lot of fascinating internal customer stories that we've captured. We share them occasionally, sporadically. We do tremendous amounts of user research. Like I said, I'm more curious, research driven. That's how we kind of iterate on the product. It's not so much
Hmm.
our ideas that drive that. So we have bits and pieces of that here and there. I'm also working on a book, a documentary, some
Nice.
synergistic media that can help complement this movement in a sense. But we're pretty light on the marketing side. There really is a lot of organic growth of people that use the device and say, "Oh, you have to use this," and they grab their friends, and we grow like that. So
I would think one powerful thing would be your story and really how you've lived through it yourself of, how did you and to help little ones through that transition to using digital. And how is it, I'm curious, now that when people are using the product, what are you hearing from them as far as their the difference in their lives?
Yeah, so it's a pretty predictable experience that we even charted it out and included in the phone when you buy it. It's like the first 30 days. At first, you get like this withdrawal, like
Yeah.
any drug or something. It's like
Right.
first 14 days, you're literally holding up your phone and like doing this, and you're like, oh, I can't do anything. And then you put it down, and then you, after 14
Yeah.
days, you've kind of figured out, hey, the new systems, the new processes, like the little life hacks that it takes to like live without some of the things that you're used to, even if they're bad for you. And then consistently, after 30 days, everybody feels feelings of peace and freedom. And those are kind of the two
Mm,
words that just rose to the surface. I hired an ex-Google product manager to go and interview before we launched this new product. We did 40 user interviews. Each of them was an hour long. Some of them were kids, some of them were adults. It was a mix. And those two words rose to the surface. But what I thought was pretty cool is she's very PhD, factual, data driven, statistical mind. And she teared up and she was emotional during the interviews, especially on the tail end of it. And she said, "This is the first time in my career I've ever gotten this way about how a product transforms lives." And it's because she just heard story after story after story
right.
of people's lives really being changed. And so I'm excited about that effect in people's lives.
Well, that dopamine hit that you talk about, I mean, you didn't specifically mention it, but that's really what's happening. Every time we pick that up, we get some positive feedback that I can totally see how if I were to make that move, the withdrawal would be real. Just it's
Yeah.
habits also. We've established certain habits of picking up the phone and relying on the phone uh, in ways that would be take some time to get over.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that's what we are. We're a system in a sense that you're choosing to adopt, and it helps you break the bad habits. That's it.
right.
So
Yeah, yeah. So I'm curious, it sounds like you're in the middle of it right now. Like if you look ahead 6 to 12 months, what would amazing growth look like for Techless? Is there anything like currently that you'd love to simplify or automate even in your process to help you impact more lives?
So for us, we have a solid team. We've got a really good Wisephone's growing heavily every month, which is very exciting. I mean, we've 5x since this time last year.
Yeah.
Um, it's a good season. I think there's just we're playing in a world of multi-million-dollar giants, like just huge giants, and
Right.
we're the little guys.
Yeah.
And for me, the traction I get excited about is actually not simplifying. It's when we can add more sophisticated offerings. And so we have some tools around app curation that help people understand a little bit why we're choosing the
Mm.
things we're doing. I'll get more insight that I think will create a better dialogue nationwide or worldwide even around why this, I mean, the Grok app, why it's rated 4+ in the App Store, but it's definitely not. It's 18+, like
Yeah.
things like that. It helps just unpack and shed light onto this reality of the digital world. So we're releasing a tool there. And I would just call it continuous iterations, improving. So nothing
Yeah.
world changing or groundbreaking. It's just continuously improving our customer experience. And it's proven very well to work for us in the past. So we just have a year of that to go.
Continuous improvement of many lives out there. All
Yeah.
right, that's pretty. It's always exciting to know how you are impacting lives like that, and there so much going on out there that you're not even hearing about. Yeah. What's one thing that you think people need to know about Techless, the Wise Phone, what's coming, like this world of digital wellness? What do you think people need to know?
Yeah, I would just say there's a lot of aspirational people that like the idea aspirationally and not even as a product sell. Like go buy one of our competitors' products or go do something. But I would just say lean into that and I promise you won't regret it. Like have the courage to actually do
Yeah.
something a little bit weird or a little bit countercultural, whether it's locking down your iPhone, which kind of works, or whether it's going more drastic or it's saying, hey, I got to go outside for 5 minutes before I turn my phone on, whatever that looks like just do something and step in the right direction. I promise you won't regret it. That would be my kind of nudge for everybody is it's a journey, but start
Yeah.
something. Don't just accept status quo. So,
Those small habits can really add up to a completely different life, no doubt.
yeah.
Yeah. What a great conversation. I really appreciate you just really openly sharing your journey and taking time from, I know you are in the middle of a big launch in London, so I appreciate you taking a few minutes to spend with us. I have no doubt people will be inspired by the mission. That's really what inspires me about your story and, standing up for intentional living. So I appreciate you. Thanks again for being here, Chris.
Yeah, glad to be here, and hopefully a little sacrifice inspired some entrepreneur out there to take the next step. That would be a major win in my book. So thanks for the conversation.
Well, I think if people can find their mission niche, if they can really focus on that, which I have found in my own experience, is that when it's mission based, the rest will fall into place and you'll be more inspired to keep going. So I think you exemplify that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.